So it's freezing fucking cold outside, and what's the best thing to do is watch 2 goddamn Volcano documentaries. So, I noticed that there's several Volcano documentaries out this year. There's even one on like Netflix about the one in New Zealand, and I was like, wow, what a year for volcanoes. And then I realized that these two are about the same couple. Like, I just thought, like, people just really wanted to tell you about volcanoes all of a sudden. So both of these docs, The Fire Within and then Fire of Love, are both about the Krafft couples, or Krafft couples, if you want to get really with their name, who are volcanologists, which always just sounds like a study of Star Trek. But anyway, they're volcanologists who've been together like forever, and they've seen a lot of the big eruptions and all that stuff. And with people like them who really love their jobs, they die doing what they love. So the two docs, like, pretty much did the same thing, which was kind of like tell their story, showed a lot of the footage that they, filmed themselves and everything, but they both went about it, like, a little bit differently. Excuse me. But, like, I guess just to, like, summarize it up, like I said, they love each other, they both love volcanoes, that's their job, they just did it, they recorded everything, all that stuff, and then, whatchamacallit, like, they died via volcano, like one does when you love the thing so much, but the thing is that, of the two, I really like, Werner Herzog's, one a lot more, because, like, that one, the Werner Herzog one is the Fire Within one. I like that one a lot more because it just kind of showed you rather than told you. You know what I mean? And with a lot of good docs, that's kind of what you do, is that you kind of, like, you tell a story by showing you exactly what it is. You know what I mean? Like, because if you try to, I don't know, edit too much or do something else, it then becomes kind of like, I don't know how else to put it, but, like, it just comes off like, like it's, obviously it's edited, that there's something, I don't want to say nefarious, but just, I think I'll get to it more when I talk about the other one that I didn't like as much, but anyway, so, the Werner Herzog one, it's like an hour and a half, it's all, like, everything is all footage by the Kraffts. So, it's all the footage, and he just shows it. There's, background music, and, orchestra, and whatever music, and it makes you feel the feels, all that stuff. It's, and it's like, volcano shit happening, like you do. And so, you're just like enamored, you're just watching it, and the documentary kind of shows, like, it kind of does the thing that, like, movies do, nowadays, which it kind of shows you a bit of the third act and then go back to the beginning kind of stuff, but it doesn't go, like, too far in the beginning, but it kind of goes, like, in the beginning of when the two of them were together and they started to do, these quest investigations, these journeys, these discoveries and all that stuff together, the beginning of that. And then, Werner Herzog just kind of comes in every so often with narration being like, this is 1984, or whatever. This is Mount da-da-da, blah, blah, blah. And then gives you, like, little snippets of things, like, little bits of facts, so you kind of, like, understand it more, to be like, this eruption was as big as this, and this happened, and this much damage happened. Quickly, he's in and out, and then you just hear the music, and you just see the people, and then you just see the destruction, and then the aftermath, and all that stuff, and then it kind of just, like, you just see them, like, looking at the aftermath, and then trying to, like, go through it, and again, doing their thing. So that's the whole thing, and then obviously, again, like, the whole movie is pretty much, in a way, like, a build-up to, like, their death, so you just kind of, like, you just watch, all these volcanoes and how massive they are and how deadly they are and how close the couple gets to them, like, it'll be like things are blasting off right here and they're like, it looks like they're like right in, like, and you're just watching just how, like, daredevil-y they are, to just be, like, inside a volcano kind of thing. Kind of like in the movie Twister, where Helen Hunt was like, I have to see it! I have to see the Twister! You know, like, that kind of shit, where you're like, I have to, you know, be it kind of stuff. And you just find yourself so fascinated with how, like, how much the couple loves doing that. It obviously makes you, like, kind of more fascinated with how volcanoes are. A lot of the footage was definitely very mesmerizing, because it's just like, just like a lot of that happening. You're just watching it. And again, it's like, it's so deadly, and obviously, like, also, like, weirdly beautiful, you know, and you're just, like, watching Mother Nature just saying, fuck y'all, kind of stuff. So that's the Werner Herzog one. And it just quickly told their story, their career, what they did, how they, you know, left this earth, in a sense you want to say, or became part of the earth. And it's just like, oh shit, you know, because then when it ended, I was just like, oh fuck. The thing with the other one, Fire of Love, one, it's done by Nat Geo. It's a little bit easier accessible to see this one. It's Nat Geo, so it's obviously on Disney Plus. Where the other one, like, you either have to have, like, that special History Channel thing on Prime, or you want to just pay $2.99. I'm just gonna be honest, pay the $2.99 to watch that one more. Like, even though I guess if you already have Disney Plus, it's just gonna probably be easier to watch the Nat Geo one. The Nat Geo one is like 10 minutes, it's a little, like, I think it's about 10 minutes or so longer than the Werner Herzog one. But it just felt like a YouTube essay video, where there was a lot of cuts, a lot of things added to it, and it wasn't like, it felt like it appeared to initially to be like dumbing things down for the Normans, but at one point it was just kind of like, we need to keep putting things in front of your face to keep your attention. Like, that's what it felt like, more like Jingle Keys, like, whereas Werner Herzog's one, it's like they're just showing you the footage, so you're just watching this stuff, music is playing, and you're just watching it, you're part of it, kind of thing. Whereas this one, it was just like, the narrator is talking about stuff, and then they're like intercutting all that stuff, and it's like, you don't have to. There's a lot of footage that couple, like, shot. And what I mean is, so one, the narrator's voice was, like, very monotone the entire time, whereas in Werner Herzog's, like, one, he's got that great accent, and two, like, there was emotion in his voice when he's talking about stuff. And he's just like, there's a part where he's like, oh, look how silly that guy off to the side is. Look at his acting skills. Ha ha. Like, it was just, like, a little bit more humanity, a little bit more, like, personable, like, kind of like, oh, okay. Whereas the narrator here was just like, the couple had, you know, sandwiches, and then they went, and everything was very much that, you know, even if something was, like, deadly, or happy, or sad, everything just felt like it was just very monotone, and also, like, the person's voice was very whispery, so I was just kind of like, it just felt, like I said, it felt like YouTube essay video, where they're like, here's a 3-hour video about why that one episode of SpongeBob was, you know, censored, or some shit like that, and you're like, okay. And then it was, like, whispery, and it was, like, monotone, and then it was, like, this the entire time, and every time they would they would intercut a lot of, like, stock stuff, animation, and all that shit, which was all lovely, you know, but for me, it felt like it was, like, you're adding too much, you know, like, quality over quantity kind of stuff. It's like you're adding too much to it, you know, and again, which made the doc, it kind of took me out of the doc. It didn't feel like a doc. It felt more like, it felt semi-fiction in a way, because there was just so much added that wasn't the real thing, you know what I'm saying? Which is why I like the Werner Herzog one more, because you're just watching like, all the footage, everything is shot, whether it's a photo, whether it's video footage, like, everything in there is done by that couple, you know what I mean? I think they might have had, like, you know, some news stuff, but everything, it's them, you know? It's all old and grainy and shit. Or again, this one, and then this one kind of got a little bit pretentious, because the Werner Herzog one decided just to say, fuck it, we're just gonna crop, you know, the footage to, you know, the long form, you know, the widescreen. But that one was like, no, we're gonna go 4:3 with the ratio, just because obviously back in the day that's what you filmed it on. But, like, even when they did the other stuff, like the you know, the animation and like the stock footage, they made it all 4:3, which I was just like, all right, I get it, but you know, um, and then this one also like this wasn't much about like the the volcanologists' like love of volcanoes and then like their love of each like it was about them. Or it's kind of like, you know, you went to go see the Titanic to watch the ship go down and you're just watching this couple, you know. It was about the couple more, which is fine because these both of these docs were about the couple. But this like literally was like it did like the like thing where it paused the footage. Like I'm like, what am I watching, like a JCS video where it's like, you see the guy's you see in this footage the guy's, you know, body language is showing that he is an innocent or guilty guy, you know, like it did that. That's why it made me feel like it was a YouTube essay. And then it was like, we'll rewind, and it actually did that. And they were like the two of them met at a cafe. There's no real like there's no, what was it, like no particular recording of when they first met. And it's like, well, I get it. They're together. The whole doc is about the two of them. I don't need to know that they met in a cafe and then you have stock footage of two teacups on a saucer on a table. You know what I mean? And then slowly but surely the black and white drinks get lower and lower while you're telling the story about how they first met and then they love. I get that already. Like the fact that I went into this having a somewhat idea that it's a couple who studied volcanology and then died by volcano, I had a feeling that there was some kind of connection with the two of them. I don't need to know the backstory. I don't need to know the Lifetime rom-com meet cute of it, you know? And that, again, this is my issue with the other doc, was that it was very much that. It was just kind of like, it's a lot of fluff. It's like, look how much they loved each other. Look, and it's like, yes! Again, I got that from the Werner Herzog one, which was simply that one of them would get really close to like fucking lava spraying at them, and then the other one would stay put and record them the entire time. Like neither of them ever left each other, no matter how dangerous it got, you know? And again, I got that from the Werner Herzog one. I figured it out, that that's how deep their love is. Whereas this one, it kept building up for like half of the doc, explaining they met this year, and met that year, and this is how much they love one another, And by the time you're halfway through the fucking doc, that's when like you're finally like into like the first two like big volcanoes that they freaking, you know, like explored together. Whereas, and again, the Werner Herzog one, we've been there. We're gone, you know? By the time it's halfway in the Werner Herzog one, we're in that spot where, like, it's all ash and people are just trying to cross it, even though it's, like, it's so deep with, like, ash and shit, and you just see destruction, and you're just, like, watching it, like, oh, man, these people's, you know, you're watching it, feeling emotion, while, like, the Nat Geo one was just kind of like, you know, like, shapes and colors, children, you know? I don't know. I just felt like, again, because I know the Nat Geo one's gonna hit a larger audience, and I get it that maybe, like, they wanted to dumb it down just a little, even though neither of these really talk about, like, volcanoes themselves, even though the other one, the narrator just wouldn't shut up about how, like, we just don't know how volcanoes act, we just don't know about how volcanoes would be. There are warning signs everywhere, but we just don't know how volcanoes... Like, which one is it? There are warning signs that the volcanoes gonna erupt, or we just don't know when any of that shit's gonna happen? Like, which one? Like, you know what I mean? I felt like... in the Werner Herzog one, I was being spoken to like an adult, whereas the Nat Geo one, I was like, it's like I like was helping, you know, like my niece with like her homework, and we had to like watch like a little like thing, you know, like watch this little video, you know, and I mean, even then, like Bill Nye never spoke down to, like, I rewatched a lot of the Bill Nye stuff. I didn't feel like he was talking down like, you children, you dumbass fuck. I don't know. That's also part of like why I felt kind of about the Nat Geo one. Like it was too much fluff. Like, just show me, like, literally show me the destruction of a volcano. Show me that couple being ridiculous, you know, in a good / bad sense, because, you know, they're literally like, lava is spraying like a foot in front of them, like, whoosh, like total Bellagio fountain shit going on, and they're just standing there. Most of the time, not even protective gear. They're like in khakis, you know? And they're just like, oh, wow, oh. And the one behind them, whichever one, because sometimes it's either or, is just filming them. And then it's just like, it's crazy, you know? And again, I, you know, lots of props to that couple for loving the volcanoes to the point where they're like, let's get closer and closer, like the one in Japan. Let's keep getting closer and closer and closer. And then the pyro whatever thing, the you know, the thing that just kills you in it, that kills you in an instant, you know. And that was like crazy. I feel like again also that the Nat Geo one just kind of didn't like there wasn't enough oomph about their death, about how like I mean that's just me because I'm like tell me about the death, but it wasn't like enough to be like no they died instantly. That shit went a bajillion miles an hour. They got caught. There was no way for them to get away from it because it's true. They got caught. It died instantly. You know, and it was just kind of like if they could like the voiceover person was like they couldn't escape in time and it was like that. Also, I just didn't like that it was so like, it felt like it was like it's a grown woman who did this doc, but just felt like it was like a teenage girl reading to me too. So that also added to that. That's why again, it's making me feel like YouTube essay kind of stuff. Just there was just so much like I don't know. I don't have ADHD. Maybe that's why I was just like, stop. Just stop. Like chill. What's with all this stuff in my face? Again, where the Werner Herzog one was just like, you know, just okay, you know, it's even though I know these are documentaries, they're not movies, but it's that thing of like show me, don't tell me, you know. And a lot of times, like again, the other doc, in the Nat Geo doc, they'll show you while telling you at the same time, and so you're just kind of like, okay, yeah, I know. What are you, Schwarzenegger, like doing the audio commentary for Total Recall? He's like, do you see the fat lady? You think it's the fat lady? No, it's me. I'm the fat lady. It's like I see, bro, I see it, you know. Whereas obviously that commentary is just gold. But anyway, that's probably like the best thing I could say. It's like definitely watch the Werner Herzog one, the Fire Within one. I like that one more. I like it felt more emotional with that one. Whereas like the Fire of Love one, it's just like okay, like I don't know, it just didn't feel like. Again, it's not because I watched one before the other. I would have felt the same way. This kind of like similar to like when I watched the Firefest docs. When I watched the Hulu one, I watched the Netflix one, and like one gave you a little bit more information. The other one was just kind of skimming the top. You know what I mean? And funny enough, they all just came out around the same time. Like I think they both came out like a month or two apart. Like, but anyway, yeah. So Werner Herzog, Fire Within. I would say that one would be the thing. Yeah, volcanoes. It's cold outside.